Should we just pretend we're doing a Friday the 13th season?
Oh, yeah. No.
Camp Crystal Lake.
No, today's Friday the 13th.
Oh, when was the last Friday the 13th?
No, it's on, but we can release it on September 13th.
When is that?
September 13th.
Oh, is it September 13th? What
I
day
was
of the
like,
week, though?
we can release it on September 13th. And you're like, when is that? I don't know what else you want to tell. Like,
What day of the week?
the fact that happened like naturally is so good. Because that's what happened in this movie. There's a scene like that.
Yeah.
Are we doing summer
break? This is summer
Summer
break. Yeah.
break.
Isn't not part of our canon.
fall break? We're at the end.
We're
Labor Day was last weekend.
Oh,
Can't wear white anymore.
I'm wearing tie-dye though.
Is that okay past Labor Day? Is tie-dye okay?
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
Is a dyed white shirt okay?
Every shirt's a dyed white shirt. Does it cotton show up white?
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Little food for thought. Okay, summer break. All right, fuck. Oh, God, Jesus Christ. Okay. So fucking hot in here. Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland Summer Break. I'm your co-host, Denali.
I'm your co-host, Ryan, and I'm going to live till the end of the episode.
That's right, because I forgot to say the movie. We are watching Friday the 13th, Jason Lives.
Jason
Sixth
Lives.
installment of the Friday the 13th franchise.
Friday the 13th, part 6.
Part 6, Jason Lives.
It's lives, Denali.
Well, yeah, he lives, but like...
Yes, exactly,
it's
right
like-
there. Boom.
But he's like alive, so I think it's like Jason Lives. Like it's how many lives he gets because he comes back to life.
Yes, I understand that, like, it's the same root word, but I believe it's the lives, like he lives kind of
Right.
a thing.
No, I think that could be a
not
a
like
read
it's
of
alive,
Right.
Because they would have written that.
Jason Lives. I think that sounds cool. I mean, we won't know until they someone says it out loud.
Yeah, the next convention.
Yeah. So folks at home, if you have a correction, feel free to let us know. But for now, I think we'll agree on Jason Lives. We finally watched this, folks. Ryan and I have been arguing off camera for years, probably. About this movie.
Yeah, literally. I have been pitching this movie consistently, and I've been trying to actually like pitch it into other people's seasons and stuff. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite slasher movies ever. For seemingly no reason, and finally in a form of a one shot, no season attached. We finally hit it.
Yeah, we brokered an agreement, me and Ryan. My biggest hang-up with this was I have not seen any of the other Friday the 13th movies in the franchise.
Right.
Aside from Jason X once, when I was like 10.
Yeah, that's after this, so that's no good.
And you had said that I did not need to see any of the prequels or the other movies. in the
More
canon.
like I said that, yes. But what more like I wasn't saying is that I would love to see your perspective on the movie without
you did
having
this.
seen the rest of the stuff.
Because we did this with Neon Genesis Evangelion. Like, you remember how that felt,
Yes,
right?
I'm glad you're putting them both on the same playing field.
You're dipping into the deep end, and you don't even know what water is.
Yeah.
And you're expected to swim. And
To be fair, this is the middle. It's also the reboot, and it's also the end.
so there was a lot in here, and folks at home, like, if you don't know what Friday the 13th is, you've never seen one, don't worry, I'm here as your delegate. Like, I am here to kind of guide you on this journey so that we can take this together. Because when I watched Jason X as a 10-year-old, I think it was so far removed from the original scripture that
It's
it
not
was
exactly
standalone.
The sacred texts have been abandoned.
They're in a fucking space station. Okay, like, there is no camp. There's no...
Right.
So here, Ryan, like, I was confronted immediately with lore. And I was
Right.
like, what? I immediately texted you. Like,
The
I was
first,
like, what
the
is
first
this?
scene, I do admit, when me and Julie were watching it, usually we watch it as ourselves and not me guessing how you're going to react.
Yeah.
And the first thought I had was, I didn't really remember this opening with so much exposition, because when we're watching it, my reaction is, yeah. You don't just stop talking, Tommy. You don't need to say any of that. I know. I know exactly what's going on. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, it helps that everyone in this movie also talks with, like, "Hi, I'm Tommy. I just escaped from the mental institution."
Yes.
And like, "Tommy, you just escaped. Oh, what are we doing? Driving to the graveyard to get over your fears?" Like, they talk. They literally are explaining it. But I'm also like, okay. who the fuck's Tommy? Like they're saying Tommy, like I should know who Tommy is. And then also, like, thank God I know from context clues who Jason is, just from existing in this world. But I don't really know what Jason's deal is. Like, I don't know. Is he magic? Like, what's is he like the Halloween situation where he's just kind of like a big strong guy? Like, what was
He's a
the
jag.
okay?
He started as a jag, just
Okay.
a guy.
Yeah.
That's Jace's term, and I'm now adopting it as
Right.
my own. The
It's a good term.
dude, I don't know how much you want me to get into like the actual lore.
We
but,
don't have
like,
to get deep. Just
okay,
give me like
so
a
this
run-
explanation,
yeah.
I'm not going to start at the beginning of the series and walk you up to what happened in 6. When you have
Okay.
a question, I'll just answer it.
Okay. Is he magic?
No.
Okay.
That's why they weren't worried about the lightning stuff. That's introduced in this movie.
Okay. Okay. So after this movie, he becomes magic, right? Like,
Right.
So he did die. Like he was killed in the fifth one or
Yes.
whatever.
The 4th one.
What the fuck? What happened? Was it just them hanging out in the fifth
No.
one?
So here's the thing is Tommy was one of the characters in the 4th movie.
Okay. Great.
Okay. Tommy is like the sole survivor from number 4. But he was a child played by Corey Feldman.
Oh, damn. All right. Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
And Crispin Glover was in this movie. It was pretty great. And Tommy's the one who killed Jason.
Great. What the fuck happened in 5? There's no Jason.
In 5, it's essentially like a spin-off.
Oh, okay. Okay. So some other like copycat
Exactly.
killer or something. Okay. Okay.
It's almost like episode or the 3rd Halloween movie, Season of the Witch. It's almost like that.
Okay, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay, well.
my other question is: was Jason a knife guy before he died? Like, why he has like like the guys who go to the state fairs with like the knives? Like he
Yeah.
could kill people any way he
No.
wants,
No.
but he has.
He drowned as a child.
Okay, so
He was a child at camp.
Why is he big?
And they were not looking. The counselors were off having sex, and they were supposed to be watching him at the lake. And so he
that's why
drowned
he
at Camp
hates-
Crystal Lake.
he
and
hates
so he's
sex.
been coming back to haunt the camp whenever they try to open the camp back up.
oh, okay, but okay, so he is magic. He fucking
No,
drowned.
he's not magic.
Why? Is he
Because
alive?
they thought he drowned and he just lived in the woods.
So what's the big deal? He lived. He was fine.
No, they didn't know. And so he comes back and he doesn't quite understand right and wrong, and he
Okay.
lives in his own world, and then he comes
Okay.
back and he just kills people. I'm giving a spoiler
Yes.
free for the
Okay.
people who are listening in and know Friday the 13th lore. I know I'm not describing it totally accurately. That's because I'm trying not to maybe ruin it for Denali when he watches the first movie or two.
I know there's a mom in there somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so in the beginning, Tommy's like, he escaped a mental institution, so I'm
That's
assuming...
number 5. That's they're saying. Yeah, number 5's done with. Like we're
Okay,
back.
okay.
We're back, baby. We're in the real world, baby.
But they're not looking for
Number
him.
5 is
like-
Tommy goes to a mental institution because he's so fixated about Jason, and then somebody impersonates a Jason and is stalking and killing all his
Oh my
other patients and stuff.
Christ on a cracker. There's a ton of lore, Ryan.
No,
There's a ton
that's
of
not important
stuff
lore.
that I
That's not
didn't-
important lore. You need to know that
Okay.
Jason was killing a bunch of kids at the lake.
All right. Okay. That's what happened, right? And then Tommy, who's not a teenager, he's like a man at this point. He's coming back.
He's a late teen, late teen, early 20s
Oh,
maybe.
okay. He seemed like a guy with a
Well,
mortgage.
they're
Like,
camp
he looked
counselors.
like
Think
he's
about that.
39.
He's hanging.
Yeah.
He's the same age as like the camp counselor, so he's probably late teens.
Oh God, yeah. He seems like an older man. Like he seems well older than me.
He's
okay.
he's been killing serial killers for like 10 years at this point.
Oh my God. Okay. So Jason, he's not a knife guy.
I mean, he's a whatever's laying around guy. That's the fun thing about Jason.
Yeah.
Is he's literally like one of those monsters in like a video game where like they'll use the environment.
Right. Because
That's his thing. He's not like Michael Myers with like the butcher knife or the kitchen knife. He's completely a man of his surroundings. And that's what makes each movie kind of different. It's like, how does Jason kill these people?
Has he ever used a gun?
No.
So no gun. So that's like his rule. Has
No,
he ever used like a bow and arrow?
This movie, an interesting thing happens in that he encounters someone and does not kill them.
Right.
Which is the first time ever. He's just a one-man wrecking machine.
Okay. It's kind of like when someone turns on God mode in like a video game.
Exactly.
And you're just kind of chasing down people in Skyrim. With,
Right.
With like okay. Because I was trying to think about that too, like the logic of this.
He doesn't
movie.
have he's not a thought. He's like an insect.
if his thing is like justice, like what if he was like, I don't know, like setting up traps? Like
It's
what if
not.
his thing was traps? Like
So you're talking about what the kind of vibe they went with the reboot,
yeah.
which I call number 12.
So he did traps.
In the reboot of the like the recent one with like Padalecki from Supernatural and stuff. Like they rebooted the movies,
Yeah.
and in that one he was like digging tunnels and like doing electrical work and like laying traps and like stuff.
It's just like his like because I just feel like he has like some kind of sense of humor or he's like funny, right? And like
Hilarious comedic timing.
I feel like if he's like making traps, I'm like I'm because I'm trying to think of it in the context of like Jigsaw, right? Where he's out for retribution. He has like this process. Jason allegedly died in a weird way. So I'm thinking like what if he wanted to craft all these things but he's like not good at it? Because like I'm seeing things just kind of are going awry in this movie and he's having to improvise where he's like, oh fuck. Like I can see
Right.
him trying because he's like waiting in the forest a lot of times in this movie and someone's kind of walking and I'm imagining him being like, all right, come on, hit the fucking thing. And they're not doing. He's like, oh god damn it! And he like walks out, and they're like, whoa! And he like rips their arms off.
Yeah, he has a sort of his idea is to kill someone pretty much as quickly as possible, and if he's going to upgrade a weapon, then great. And that's kind of the way it goes because like there's a hilarious sequence in number 7 that's unintentionally hilarious, and we can talk about that topic too. There's one in 7 where he upgrades weapons like 3 times in the span of like 45 seconds. And it's like he ends up with like a weed eater that's an old school 80s one that has a saw on the end of it, not like a thing of twine.
Yeah,
Like it's an actual saw, and he's like ripping people in half and stuff. It's crazy.
so he's known for the chainsaw, right? Like isn't
no,
that the thing?
no, he's known for machete.
So what's with the? Is he not a chainsaw guy? I always thought chainsaw was like.
No,
his
you're thinking
main
of
thing.
Leatherface.
Oh, Leatherface. Oh God. All right. So I think you clarified a lot of questions for me off the rip. I assumed a lot going in, but I wasn't sure I was right.
Did you imagine Jason with the mask?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Like with that specific mask, I was like, okay, this is the Jason
The hockey
that I
mask.
understand.
He doesn't get a mask until halfway through the 3rd movie.
What was he wearing in the other ones?
Exactly.
Was he just a guy?
He was unseen, like the killer is unseen for 90% of the first 2.
Okay.
And then he doesn't end up getting, and then in 3 they're like, fuck it, we'll just start shooting Jason like he's just a character. And
Dog,
then
this is buck wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. But none of these are good. Like, so the good ones don't even have him in it. Like, because the good ones are supposed to be the first, the second one, right? Isn't
yes,
it kind
the
of
first
like
2 are amazing.
Aren't they good? And
They're
then
really good.
The bad ones is when he's iconic. The fuck?
Well, I mean
Okay.
that's the reason he's iconic because of the movies he's actually shown in. Like the movies that are shot like real horror movies where the villain's not on screen, the
You would
monster
just see
is-
like a hand.
yes, or like in like quick bursts and stuff.
So if someone's cosplaying, they would just be like a rubber glove, basically.
Yeah, sure.
And I was looking at this, right? Because like this came out in 1986, and the original came out in 1980, and so I'm
They're
like
just boom,
six
boom, 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 boom.
sequels in 6
Yeah, but did you
years?
also see where this is the first one to not open at number 1 at the box office?
What? They all open number 1?
Yes, even the last
Holy
2,
piss.
which were terrible.
This movie it made 20 million in the box office off a budget of
crazy.
2 million, dude. Like these are money machines. Like I
Yeah.
can see why they made 10 of these.
Exactly.
Did they like? I don't know how they pump them out that fast because nowadays sequels take like 3 to 5 years. Like, did they shoot these all at the same time? like Lord of the
Completely
Rings?
different crews, completely different everything.
Yeah.
Like completely different. And that's the thing is that you don't have to like worry about like the script making sense with the previous ones because
Yeah.
there's 2 stipulations in a Jason movie. There has to be sex and he has to die at the end.
Okay.
And in order to get to die at the end, you have to revive him. So every movie follows this cycle. It's like reviving, sex,
Yeah.
killing, Jason dies.
So I see like a PA running from one set to the other with the paper information of how he died.
Exactly.
Literally handing it to the director, who is then starting the film up.
Right.
And then so they're filming like with 8 different studios
It's like
at
how
the same time.
Aaron Sorkin wrote Social Network when he was in the room while the author was writing Accidental Billionaires.
Yeah, exactly. That's an incredible feat. Like we really don't see that anymore. Like even Marvel movies with their massive
years.
machinery. Like yeah, it takes multiple years between Iron Man.
Well, this
and
is no
granted-
House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
Let's
this-
put that out there. We can start by saying it's like The what you see is what you get. I don't know if there's a single CGI clip in the entire movie.
Yeah, I could make this movie.
Right.
Like straight
And
up.
that's
I could
the
make
allure.
every scene. Yeah.
And that's the allure. There's no, like, everything's practical. Everything's low budget. Everything's gritty. We're right there. There's not even puppetry.
It's incredible. And it's all shot on a summer camp, it's just Wait, speaking of Ryan, I wanted to add, like, have you been to a summer camp? Do you have experience going
Yes.
to summer camps?
So I
like
went to a
this?
summer camp when I was in 5th grade.
Okay, cool.
And you did a Boy Scout camp.
So I've done a lot of summer camps.
Yes.
Yeah, I worked at one and went to them for years. Yeah.
So you have a lot more than me. But I do have a mini story. When I was in law school, one spring break, and we're using spring loosely because it was very early in the year, in March, New England. And we were going to visit our friend Linnea, who was working at a state park in
I know Linnea. Yeah, okay.
New Hampshire. So we drove all the way to New Hampshire in March. And she had just, like, the season, that's kind of like when the season starts, and then you work there for like a term of years, right? So she was like starting her year, and the whole park wasn't open yet. And this was like a park where people could rent cabins. And since the employees like lived there, the employees also had cabins. And it was like straight out of this movie. It like might have been one of the places where they filmed like one of these movies, like or like where they got inspired by it.
Yeah.
It was serious. And then it got kind of like, we're literally there before the kids show up, which is the plot of the first like 4 movies.
Right.
And it gets dark. There's maybe about 8 of us, and we're like, I don't know anybody, which is a classic recipe for a Jason movie.
Yeah.
And
Nobody have sex. Like, that's
Right.
kind of the first.
and so we're sleeping in the same cabin as like Linnea, and so we're and like one other guy who we don't know.
Okay.
And it gets dark. We start walking, and on the way, Linnea starts talking about the camp recently has been closed because somebody committed a serial killing and was like dumping the bodies here at the camp.
Lord, what the hell?
And they're like, yeah, it happened just on the other side of that lake. And that's the plot of the movie, is that there's camps around the lake and he's going from one to the other. That's the literal plot of the movie.
Oh my Lord.
Of the first 4 movies. And like, I was like, this is
That's
too
the worst
close.
news you could receive.
For me especially,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
huge Jason head.
Next
and then,
to a velociraptor's outside. That's the
there's
worst
no
thing you
power.
could say. Yeah.
There's no power in any of the cabins. It's
course,
cold as
yeah.
fuck. There's snow on the ground.
Right.
So we're like, there's a fireplace, like a stove,
Okay.
a wood stove in the cabin, and there's just bunk beds. That's it. It's not like a, hey, cabin, this is electricity, like we got doors that close and shit. No, it's like there's just bunk beds and a floor. And the guy, the 4th person is already in there sleeping. And when we get in, like, okay, okay. I get woken up in the middle of the night by the sound of an axe hitting wood, like outside the camp or outside the door. And
Jesus
it turns out
Christ.
that the 4th guy had gotten up and started chopping more wood in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night? And this is the guy nobody knows?
It's the guy that I didn't know because he was sleeping when we showed up.
Well,
And
that's
so-
like, who the fuck gets
I
up
lived-
and just starts chopping? Yeah, okay.
Well, exactly. I mean, we wanted more wood for the wood stove, but like,
Okay.
so I get it. Like, I get like stuff like this does happen. The setups to these. This one's a little different. The kids actually show up, which I do want to like make a point of that. But man, I really wish you had seen like 2 or 1, 2, or like 7. Those are like the most camp heavy
Oh,
ones.
you wish I saw the other movies, Ryan?
Yeah.
Mister, you don't need to see them. Now you've created this monster who knows what happens on 6 before he's going to see first 5.
What did you think of the opening scene and how they revivified Jason?
I had these questions floating in my head, right? The ones I asked you, where I didn't know anything about Jason. And I've seen pieces of Freddy versus Jason on TV, so I know what Jason looks like, pieces of it. And I know he looks fucked up under the mask. Like, I thought that was wicked. Like, it's gray. It looks like something happened to him. Is this why he looks fucked up? Like, because he was dead?
He's come back from the dead, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, something's happened with this guy.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I mean, at first, because they're digging the grave, right? And Tommy is like, I want to burn up Jason to make sure he's dead. Jason's body to make sure he's dead. He's deeply traumatized. Like, from what you said, it sounds like he's had multiple run-ins at this point.
Yeah.
And he wants it done with. I guess I understand that. But then he grabs like a fence post, right? Like a
By actually seeing the body, he gets so incensed that he changes his plan. and that
And he
anger
just
takes
starts
over.
like smacking and stabbing the body. And I gotta say, the prop for Jason's body is the nastiest
It's pretty
fucking
good.
thing. They went to town. They
It's
got like
pretty
every
good.
bug
The
they could
maggots
find.
on
Yeah.
his face are like actually really good.
I want to talk to their maggot guy because
Yeah.
that was like that
How
was
about
an
this?
outrageous amount of
So then he's stabbing him with a fence post, and the lightning comes down, and the lightning hits the fence post.
incredible. How did
And
that
Jason,
happen? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that revives Jason somehow.
It regenerates
It
his
regenerates
flesh.
yeah. And so he gets up, and it starts raining. Or no,
Yeah.
Tommy brought his annoying friend.
Well, he's a
who's
cool
there for
guy.
exposition.
That's a nice friend. Dude, I would. So many of my personal, very close friends, like Ryan. If you asked me to go dig up a body in a graveyard, I would say
Of a serial killer?
I would say absolutely not, and I would try to get you help. I would not join you, and that's like a flaw in my character. But this guy is a good guy.
And Jason immediately punches his heart out of his chest.
Well,
and then it starts raining. When Tommy's about to light Jason on fire, it starts raining and it puts his lighter out. And the maggots get washed off of Jason's face, and you can see
was
them
cool.
hitting the ground.
That was cool.
Like, that sort of like character building or like monster building. First off, since you have to show Jason at the beginning of the movie to establish that he's revived, like,
Yes.
let's go to hell. Like, let's fuck him up as much as possible. Let's put maggots all over him. But like, then to think of like creative ways to show things, I think is like pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree too. Like, it was wicked that like Jason's like almost 0 to 100. Like, as soon as he gets struck by lightning, his eyeballs open. Right, Tommy doesn't notice because why would you look at that? And then Jason immediately attacks.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh shit, the guy who killed me right in front of me. What are the odds? Zero commute, just starts going to town.
Right. Zero
But
commute.
if I was Tommy at this point, okay, I'm like, look, I am not like a religious person, but like, if somebody got struck by lightning like this and was fucking revived, like, I would be like, that is an act of God. like
I'm not going to be able to beat this.
yeah, and somebody that's more powerful than me wants this guy alive and doing what he is doing. And maybe I should just go fuck off to some other like country on the other side of the world and just like let this go because this is out of my fucking control. Lightning came down from the sky the moment he stabs him with a pole and then revives fucking like a miracle out of the Bible. And this killing machine comes out like the fucking Terminator. And
Okay.
like,
But like,
yeah.
pretty cool, right?
That's cool. That's
It's
cool.
cool.
I would think it's cool.
I think it's important to dwell on that because this is
Yeah.
probably the first time Jason has done something cool
Okay.
in a long time.
He's done nothing cool in like 5
And that's what
movies.
we wanted to get your perspective on, me and Julie
Okay.
both, is
Yeah.
where did this land on the
Okay.
scary to entertaining to thrilling to funny scale for you?
The whole movie or
Yeah.
just the opening sequence?
the whole movie.
Okay, because the whole movie it's uneven for me. Like, there's certain sequences where I was very in, and certain sequences where I was very out. I think this movie for me was hurt by me watching it alone, deeply hurt. Because I
Oh.
think a group watch.
Oh
would
my
have made
god,
this
you watched it
fun.
alone?
Yeah, I mean, like, because Amber doesn't want to watch this movie, and like,
What?
she's like, well, she was like, I haven't even. First of all, I'm not gonna see a movie called Friday the 13th, and it's about a dude just like hacking away at teenagers, and then it's like, why would I watch the sixth one? And so she's off doing something else, and like, I think watching this with a group of friends,
It's
where you
so
can
much
riff,
better.
it's-
Dude, I
it's
play
better.
this at my Halloween
Yeah.
parties. This is my opener.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, just watching this, where I'm like, I know the rhythms of this movie. There were moments in the second, third, where it was kind of a slog. I was kind of like,
Oh,
fuck,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. The second
I
one, yeah.
know what he's gonna do. Like, I'm kind of waiting, and it didn't really pull together until the last third. I think then when the rhythms increase and things are happening, then I found it more fun. It's campy. But like, I think the missing context, and then also just like when you're you're just watching it by yourself in front of a screen, and like the bad parts are not as funny because you can't turn to somebody, and so you're just like, okay, I'm watching these bad
we're riffing
things.
the whole time. We're popcorn munching and knee slapping
Yeah.
and whispering the whole time.
Right, and it wasn't scary, and there are moments in this movie where I'm like, is someone in 1986 scared of this? I don't think so. Like, I think this movie is taking the piss out of itself. I mean, clearly there are comedic, straight up jokes in this movie.
Yeah. Okay. So that's just so you know, that's a first
Okay.
in the series. This movie is the only one that it sets out to be partially a comedy.
Right. So, I mean, it seems like this was almost made in bad faith, where the people making it are like, God damn it. I have to make a fucking Jason 6 to fund my other thing I want to make. And then even down to, like, like the gravedigger looking at the camera and being like, they revived Jason again? Oh, folks have a weird way of entertaining themselves, and looking straight down the barrel
Yeah,
of the
literally breaking the fourth wall.
And that happens multiple times, like fourth wall breaking.
Yeah,
events.
there's a later
Yeah.
conversation too where one of the counselors is talking to a child who keeps waking up,
Right.
and says, "Oh, the adults are pranking each other. Some people think it's funny to be scared." And so like there's literally like the director is literally saying like most of the other movies suck.
Right.
And here's my philosophy on why this is a good Jason movie and why it's a good slasher, like objectively good, is that it's the first, it probably might even be the first slasher, but it's definitely the first Friday the 13th movie where the people making it know you're rooting for the bad guy.
Okay. Right.
In the first 5 movies of this, they do a terrible job of establishing the character, especially the main character.
Yeah.
They do a terrible job of building up likableness where you're like worried about the outcome. And that is compounded when the kill scenes are drawn out, like in a typical slasher movie, because you're like, come on. Like, I don't like
Right.
you. I don't
Yeah,
like you. So I would actually prefer that you die. And then the movie's like, oh, yes, they're going to love this character and they're going to be so mad when Jason kills them. This movie is complete opposite. Like, it'll introduce people who are not related to the story at all just so Jason can kill them.
Right.
And it'll do stupid things like introduce a really unlikable character and he'll be like, that's nothing, baby. Let's just like, keep going. And I think there's a couple scenes in this movie that are proof that it's not like Thanksgiving. Remember Thanksgiving where
it's purposely bad.
It's purposefully bad, but at the same time, there's not a single indication in the entire movie that somebody in there could have made something purposefully good.
Right.
This movie, I think, has a couple shots that are like actually good horror shots. And those enough are proof to me that, like, okay, this is a terribly low budget number 6 movie where he has no creative control, but he's doing something.
Right.
And I just really think this movie's fun from the opening credits, like on through.
Oh yeah, I remember the opening. Yeah, where he and the animation, the James Bond style, like looking down that. Yeah,
yeah,
that was
like
cool.
it literally the credits literally open with a joke.
Right.
I think ultimately, it doesn't matter when the Tommy Jarvises of the world are kind of annoying, or like the sheriff is really annoying, and you're like, okay, tough guy sheriff.
Yeah,
You're not going to stand a chance when Jason actually shows up. And then freaking Jason turns him into a taco. You're like, okay, hell yeah, Jason. Thanks, buddy.
It reminds me of when an artist does something, like I said, out of bad faith, or just kind of like purposely makes something with like a bitter taste in their mouth where they're trying to parody the genre, and it ends up becoming the like most iconic iteration of that, even down to like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Like, Kurt Cobain wrote that as kind of making fun of certain songs, and it became the defining thing, and people probably look at this as a thing that defines the rhythm of a slasher movie, as something that's fun schlock.
And there's actual, I think, the comedy in this. The couple jokes they have where they're not just like, this is crappy slasher dialogue where one character thinks they're saying something clever. There's some actual jokes in here.
Yeah.
My favorite being, one of my favorite lines of any horror movie ever is the children. When the children are told to hide under the bed. And they now know that like Jason's here and the cops can't kill him. One of the kids turns to the other one and says, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Right.
Like, that's like actually funny. That's like those kids have been roasting the counselor all day.
Yeah.
And then like,
it also
funny.
comes right after the counselor like is calming them down, and she's like, okay, don't worry guys, I got this under control. And then she steps outside and is like, oh fuck, oh god, where's my dad?
And there's other things about little scenes like that, because like the kids save the hamsters. She says, get under the beds. Like, and they're like, okay, that must mean under the beds is safe, and like whatever's out there can't kill whatever's under the bed.
Yeah.
We got to grab the hamsters. And then there's a doll that's kind of not under a bed, and a kid comes out and grabs it and makes sure it's safe. Like little things like that to me add so much to a bad movie.
Little details. Yeah, I mean, I think there's good moments in this movie, but yeah, man, like I really think like not watching it with people made the bad moments come through
Yeah,
so
I
much
imagine. I
that I
didn't even think
wasn't
about that.
invested. Yeah, like I was not invested in this movie watching it.
Oh
Like, and
gosh, no. You
even
kind of root for you kind of want Jason to chop people up.
I don't know, like even in the death scenes, like I didn't enjoy it. Like it was more just like I was kind of like disturbed. I was like, "Oh, this is fucked up." Like
Yeah.
I don't want to watch kids die. I don't want to watch this
Yes.
man get murdered. And I'm like watching it and I'm like it's even you said it this one doesn't draw it out, but to me it felt very drawn out. And I'm like, "Okay." And he put a knife through a guy's head, and I just kind of felt like, "Okay, that was gross, and they're gonna do it again." And I'm like, oh, fucking hey, like I gotta watch this again. Like it's like I was watching almost like a snuff film or something where I
Yeah.
was just kind of like, oh. And then
The Oh, go ahead.
I said, I mean, by the end sequence, when things are kind of coming together, I think once it starts feeling supernatural, it's a little more fun to me.
Okay.
Otherwise, it seems like I'm watching a reenactment of a true crime podcast, which I usually don't like. And then there'll be things like continuity errors, little things in the movie and line reads that are bad. So like when I watch that and I'm focused on that, it seems like, okay, if you guys didn't give a fuck about what you made, why should I care about what I'm watching
Yeah.
right now? And that was my feeling. It's unfortunate because like I feel like I could have had fun watching this movie.
That's like cool. That's good for me to know. Like I'm enjoying hearing that because
Yeah.
it's usually when we get to this one, it's usually such a sigh of relief from 3, 4, 5 because
Yeah.
it's important this one that it doesn't have any nudity.
Right.
And it's the only one out of all 12 that doesn't have any nudity.
That's interesting. I'm trying to think of when nudity, like it would just be the sex scenes. There's just gratuitous, like, is that just like
No,
a thing?
there's just nudity all over the place. Like there'll be a 5-minute scene of them just like stopping what they're doing and going to the lake and skinny dipping.
Okay, I see.
And or just like a woman changing in her cabin.
Right. Do they ever show
And-
full frontal of a man?
Not full frontal, no. But and so this movie, there's a sex scene and there's not nudity. They're both
no
clothed,
nudity.
and you can't even really like it's obvious what they're talking about what they're
Right,
doing.
right.
But like at first you're like, are they just like jumping on the bed?
I know. I was like, is it sex? I don't. It could have been.
And then
If
there's
they
like that scene ends up being, I don't know, kind of a funny little banter between they're in an RV and
Yeah.
the girl wants the guy to go check outside. And then he goes out, he finally, like, he's pushing back. Obviously, he doesn't want to go outside. There's a fucking maniac out there.
Yeah.
And he goes out there to find the electrical cord frayed. And he's like, and she's like, well, what could have done that? He's like, I don't know, and I don't want to find out. If we want to live, we better make this place a memory quick. And there's just like little pieces of that in there. And then they start driving down the road, and Jason, of course, is inside the
He's in
trailer.
that. He's
It's
in the
just
fucking
so
trailer.
good.
God.
That
So
scene
what
is
would-
that scene can be actually pretty scary. There's some horrific shots in this movie, like the top-down shot in the bathroom when he's strangling that woman.
Yeah,
Like,
man, it's fucked up,
it's
dude.
freaking
I
good.
don't like seeing shit like that.
it's pretty. That's like
It's-
that's a pretty refreshing like bit of actual scary stuff.
Yeah, it's like either make it really scary for me or make it funny.
Right.
I think when it's trying to ride both for me, it's failing on both ends.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like, oh fuck. Like I wish it would go
I don't even
either
think this
way,
movie is like. It's not like there can be. I don't think it's trying to be scary. I think it's trying to be horror, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's
like
trying to
maybe
be
like-
scary.
almost like an action movie.
Yeah, but there's a difference to me between horror and scary because like horror is a genre and scary is a feeling. And so this is an aggressively a horror movie, but I don't think it ever like really tries to be scary. Because think about the paintball scene. Like
Right.
the paintball scene is just supposed to be funny.
That was like a Power Rangers scene with the two like idiot cops in the show. So Ryan, what would you? Okay, like I know we think about these things a lot when we enter these movies. What would you do if you're presented with a Jason scenario? Like you were Tommy in this situation,
Yes.
right? You're in this. Maybe you're in a camp. What would you do to defeat Jason? Like
This is a
yeah,
great question in context of this movie because
yeah,
this is I think this movie is very unique for how its protagonist tries to solve the problem. He
Right.
goes to the police first, and then he gets rejected by the police, and then he goes to the police again, and then the police haul his ass out of town and put him on this boundary, and he goes to the
most
police again,
unhelpful people I've ever
and then
seen.
they put him out to the county boundary, and he goes to the police again, and like that is so almost like First Blood-esque, where every other movie, they solve that issue by saying, oh no, the lions are dead. We don't have phones here. And that's just like end of the story. And that's the only explanation you ever get. Where this movie explains why there's not help. It's because, the cops don't trust him. He seems like a fanatic, yada, yada, yada. The cops are there, but like they're looking for him and he's looking for them.
Yeah, he just, first thing they do is threaten to shoot him. Like as soon as he walks in, and that's all they do the whole movie is threaten to kill him.
And so I think that's probably the right answer. I mean, like, I want to
cops?
be around people that are heavily armed. I want to be around people who know that I'm not the one killing everybody. Like,
No way, man. I don't trust, dude. Like if I was in Tommy's position, I know I can't fucking trust those guys.
well,
I mean,
right.
you got to make a list. You got to think about what are Jason's weaknesses. All right, 1, water. Right? He doesn't like. He seems to not like water.
Well, it's a weakness in that he's around it a lot. But he can't. Sometimes he'll kill people from the water. In other movies, like he'll deliberately go into the water and kill people.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about other movies. I haven't seen those, man. I'm trying to think about. Has Tommy seen those other movies? He's.
Well, it happened in number 4 kind of a lot.
Okay.
But
So then water's out. Water's not a weakness. Stuff that's funny, I think, it makes him pause. I think funny stuff seems to stop
slapstick.
him.
When he accidentally tears somebody's arm off when he's just trying to take their machete,
he stops.
And
looks.
then he
That's
throws
a
their
weakness.
head into a tree and it makes a smiley face.
Yeah,
he's like, huh, that's really weird.
He just looks at it. Yeah, and like he got shot with a paintball. Like if we keep doing funny things in front of him, I think we could stop him from killing. Like has anyone tried to do like improv in front of him? Like tried to kill him with improv, perhaps?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Like you do.
There's
like
been people who try to distract him, and that happened in this, and it worked successfully. Where they say Jason, and they divert his path. And I think that might be a good tactic. Like we just set up 2 speakers, and we bounce him back and forth like a ping pong ball.
What if we just introduce like a long-running sitcom to him, and then just play it on Netflix on a generator in front of him, and then just have him watch it? Like I feel like he would just watch.
He's essentially like frozen personality-wise at a young age, So that might work. In the second movie, there was a successful technique when he didn't kill somebody, and they were impersonating his mother.
Oh, so you do something with his mom, like you do like a mom bit, and
He's got mommy problems for sure.
Why doesn't anyone do that in the other ones? They're like, hey, wouldn't your
it's
mom
been done.
not like
it's
this?
been done on number 2. You can't do it again.
He's too smart.
Every movie has to come up with a unique idea.
Okay, so if I was in this situation, I think I legitimately would try to make him laugh. I would try to do funny slapstick. I would start juggling, slipping on a banana peel, like riding on a unicycle.
He does have a sense of humor. He's kind of creative.
Yeah.
So I feel like the best case scenario for you is like getting your heart punched out. Because then at least you're like, I didn't give him a prop. Like he didn't go Gallagher on me. Because those are usually pretty bad.
Yeah, everyone has been killed with a prop at this point. Throughout the whole movie.
I think also never hide.
Yeah.
This is something that he's like the hide and seek champion. First off,
because he can teleport.
He can pretty much teleport. And they actually tried to build that into the reboot when they gave him the tunnels as an explanation of how he teleports. They're like, yeah, he just digs tunnels. It's like, that doesn't make any more sense.
He's a mole man. He digs.
His hands are kind of scooped like that. As
we should name him something else.
He's like, he kills people with his mole hands.
So wait, I had a question too. Like I'm going through my notes. Like we haven't even cracked 5% of my notes here.
Yeah,
like,
go ahead. Let's do it.
I had
Quick
bits,
fire.
but also like questions. Like why wasn't Jason cremated? Who's paying for his burial? Like those are expensive.
So he wasn't cremated. I don't know why. It was just the 80s. If you notice, he was buried properly. He was buried in a vault. But he was buried next to his mother. And in number 4, he was decapitated. Which it's partially retconned by this movie.
Okay, so they reattached his head somehow.
I think the killing is just a little bit retconned.
So somebody's paying for the lot, though. Aren't burial lots like expensive, like a huge?
And that's what I mean. Like
investment?
he's part of a family. He's a local boy.
So
there's
his
people.
family is okay. All right. Is this the first movie where he has super strength? Because he's insanely strong.
I need to not politically. I need to think through how I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
This is not the first movie where he has super strength. This is the first movie where he has supernatural strength.
Because he can punch through a guy, and I know. Yes. Humans are not, they're pretty solid.
This was kind of the breakwater for him. For instance, in the next movie, the main character has telekinesis.
What?
Yeah. So instead of Tommy, it's someone else, and they have telekinesis, and that's how they fight Jason.
That'd be like a
And
movie that's over instantly.
well, in like number 9, he's literally a slug monster.
Why didn't we watch that one?
it's the worst. And
Okay.
so this one, it's good. The idea that he's like supernatural was kind of a revelation.
He's ripping people's limbs off. He doesn't need, like, he's slowly walking up to people and like ripping apart with their bare hands. Like, he doesn't need these weapons here.
Right.
And he's also pausing and trying to think about like what's the funniest way I could take this guy down. Like, a guy throws a bottle behind him and he like catches it and waits for the guy to turn
The
around.
irony.
Like, he's trying to.
You're gonna be the death of me.
Yeah.
The guy,
Like
the guy literally says to his alcohol bottle, "You're gonna be the death
Oh,
of me."
that's good. Yeah.
And then he
so
litters.
Jason hears that.
And Jason is like, "We all
Yeah.
use this forest."
And he steps, and that's why he's a creature of God who is
He's
bringing
he's
retribution.
he's like a force of irony. He's like almost like a Roman god incarnate.
Yeah, I wish they played some of that stuff up more, because the scene where the sheriff encounters Jason one-on-one for the first time, where the sheriff's like, oh God, he's real. And, you see the wind blowing and Jason's just standing there as a force of nature, not as like a human being, but as like almost like an unstoppable Terminator. I think that was cool as an idea. Like, that was, I wish they did that more, because I'm like, is he a guy? And then I also, even though it's funny, the scenes where he's pausing and looking at shit, the scene where he stops the car, right? He's like holding like the spear,
Yeah.
and a car pulls in front of him, and he's just looking at the car. And he does like a warning shot. He like hits a headlight. He doesn't actually kill them. And I'm like, I wish that didn't happen, because now all I'm thinking about is what the fuck is he thinking?
Yeah,
Like, what is he like?
I totally get that, and I think at that moment he knows that he's instilling terror in these people, and it's kind of more like he does try to scare people in addition to just killing them. He'll mangle bodies and like position them in places to like scare people.
So that tells me he's not like an insect.
He'll
he's actually
follow,
like a thinking
afterwards,
dude.
yes, but when he has
Yeah.
sights on somebody, he's like he kind of
Right.
just doesn't stop. But he'll like put bodies to where like there's things that trigger them to fall down from trees in front of their friends and stuff.
Okay, so he's this this dude is thinking. It's just that takes away for the mystery for me, where I'd be more scared, I think, watching the movie if I wasn't like thinking that like, he rips the guy's arm off and he's like wah, wah. He's like looking at the arm and he's like, oh well, like, and that kind of just takes away the mystique and like my investment. And even though it's like funny to think about for me, but like
I agree. And part of the allure is me watching these movies over and over, and the bad ones too, is like, how would I change it? Normally when I watch a movie, I'm like, I wish that was a little different. Oh, I wish they said maybe it this way, or they emphasize this other word, or even like on a script basis. Like, we don't need that scene. Can you explain more why you're doing this? This is one of those movies where I do think it's close, but it's still a piece of clay from which we could craft a actually good movie. Most of the other ones, throw them in the trash and restart completely.
It's never been done. It's never been where someone just sat down and they're like, I'm going to write a good one. I'm going to make a good one.
I would counterpoint, and this is why it's such, I think, actually a really good question, is that Kevin Williamson, the writer of Scream, was inspired by this movie.
By this one. It's the sixth one, because it's meta. It's like a meta movie, right? Scream. I've never seen Scream.
Well, you've seen like, I know we did that summer.
Right.
He wrote that.
Okay, I liked that movie. I think that one was more successful.
If you haven't seen Scream, what are we doing here?
I don't like
if you haven't seen the original
man.
Scream, that's what you're talking about. It's funny and it's actually scary and it's legitimately good. That's
right.
But this, for like a pure slasher, one of the movies that Scream's talking about, this is it's definitely an interesting take.
It brought me back to see kids and counselors at the summer camp. It like just reminded me of working at a summer camp too, which was kind of enjoyable. Like seeing the kids come in, like when you're a bunch of teenagers and you spend like maybe like a weekend like hanging out, you guys are just like throwing rocks at the lake, and then when the huge caravan of kids show up, like I still remember that sense of dread when I was like 16. I remember there's weeks where my boss would be like, okay, Denali, you've got 35 kids this week that you're gonna have to keep track of. It's all on you. We had way too many. We're understaffed for this week. We overbooked. So you're gonna have to like look after all of them. And being like, God damn it. And there were long stretches in this movie where they're like, oh, my boss isn't here because they were killed off screen, and they're like, I have to entertain these kids. And what was it, the one like the one like idiot character.
Court.
He's like stacking rocks.
Yeah,
and
he's
just
like,
making up a
yeah.
story. Like
Here's how they used to tell where their father went when he like wanted to skip town on his wife.
yeah, like
That's like actually funny.
like that's like that reminded me of like shit I had to do all the fucking time. Where it's like you're waiting in between activities, between the lake and the archery range, and you have a whole hour to kill, and the kids are just sitting there. And if you let kids just sit there for too long, they will find a way to hurt themselves. So it's like you need to do some entertainment, and sometimes it's just me, and sometimes I have to sing and dance or like make up a story that's really dumb on the spot, like improvised. And like him playing with the rocks like that, like I think I've literally done something like that. Well, I'll grab 2 sticks and then try to captivate a group of like 8-year-olds for like an hour. And like that brought me back, and like there's part of me that just really misses doing shit like that,
Yeah.
where it's literally the stupidest thing you could be paid for.
And that's kind of the vibe of this movie too, is because like we watch
That's what this movie is doing.
Yeah, exactly. we watch these movies in fall. They
Right.
know we're watching them for like just to be entertained, and so they throw in some funny stuff. They throw in some, they're like, look, we got $2 million.
Yeah.
Freaking Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid like $80 million a movie or something
Per
like
Iron Man appearance. Yeah.
They're like, we have $2 million. So I do agree, but the vibes is why we watch too. It reminds me of camping. It reminds me of, we like to go to like the mountains here in the fall and kind of like off season. I really like the edge of season. It reminds me of the same thing. I like hanging out in the woods, fishing, stuff like that.
And we grew up in a place that looks like this. We're
Yeah.
kind of country and stuff. I will say the lake, I'll make this brief. Like the lake at the camp I worked at, it's called Camp Carlquest. It's closed now.
Mirror Lake. Right?
There was Mirror Lake, which you could swim in, and there was Edmonds Lake, which is right next to it. If you look at it on Google Maps, it looks fucking green. And that's because there is like 30 feet of duck shit, like just stacked underneath the lake. When parents are like walking by it, going down to the rowboats and the canoes, they're like, oh, Jesus Christ. It smells like something dying and sulfur. And then we used to do a thing where we'd stick a paddle into the duck shit, like sand, and then it'll bring up methane. We'd light them on fire, and it would do big fireballs. Like that's how like
Whoa,
rotting this
you're not
lake
even
was.
joking. It's like actually.
There was like rotting organic matter in this lake, and
Whoa.
it looked nasty, man. It looked really bad. And there's leech. It's leech infested too.
Yes,
like
of course.
tons of parasites. And what they would do as a tradition every year, or every week, you would be thrown in by your kids into the lake. And so once a week, I would have to be thrown into this
To the duck shit one?
leech-infested, diseased
Not Mirror Lake?
Not Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake has its own problems. I've seen leeches. I've seen all sorts of
yeah.
nasty shit in Mirror Lake. Edmonds Lake, the fucking vile place. I've had to throw out clothes because they could not get the stench off of them because of being thrown in.
See, man,
One
you
of-
should. Okay, so you might like these movies.
Yeah, it was camp counselor movies. I think.
You should. Okay, my suggestion then for a comedy is Wet Hot American Summer.
I know. I've only seen the reboot when it came out.
You
on
watched
Netflix.
you didn't watch
watched
the
I didn't-
original?
No, I didn't.
So you didn't know any of the lore?
Exactly. That sounds like a stupid idea,
How
doesn't
could
it?
you
To
jump
watch
into
something.
halfway through a series?
Exactly. Yeah. And I will say one of my friends got Giardia jumping into that lake. He's throwing up. He had to get it wasn't good. And I swallowed. I swallowed like 2 cups of water from that lake too by accident. We were doing like a water gun fight, and I did that thing where you ever like step off a dock while backing up, like you're like you take a step back, and then the side of your leg like slaps the dock like full force, and then you just like fall in and you snort all the water. It was. Maybe that's the reason why my stomach was messed up for like 5 years.
Yeah, it could have been.
So there's a lot of just sketches in this movie of just like Jason just killing people individually. There's a sheriff's daughter who shows up who's kind of interacting with Tommy. Honestly, the sheriff's daughter, I think, is the only one who can act in this movie. Like all of her scenes, I think, were the only ones that were believable.
You don't
to me.
think Tommy Jarvis going, Jason's back. It's a Jason. You didn't like that one?
I was like, is that the one they wanted to keep? And like the sheriff, as soon as he hears the word, he's like, "You shut the hell up, or you want your brains painted on the back wall."
The deputy dude is the worst. The guy's like, "Hey you get back in that cell right now, or I'm gonna wallop."
What
He's
did he
like,
say? He's like, when the dot's on you, you're gonna go boom.
yeah, boom.
Yeah, boom. Like, I was like, what is this? Is that supposed to be a thing? The machete is clearly covered in strawberry jam. I just think that looks funny.
Well,
It
that's
looks
why
like
she thought that.
who did?
When the jam is presented to the council, she's like, "Oh, this is a prop. This is fake."
Oh, like the machete?
Yeah.
Oh, because she was like, oh, this is some right.
The little girl brings it in and says, "I found this," and she's like, "Oh, Court and Sissy must be playing pranks on each other."
Yeah, dude, but like blood is unmistakable.
And
Like, when
she
you
ends up
see-
getting. That's the woman who
That
ends
one's
up
bad.
getting absolutely destroyed, and that's one of my favorite shots ever. The reveal of what
Just
happened
the
to her
room.
is
Yeah.
just absolutely phenomenal. It's all off screen, and
Right.
that makes it so much more horrifying. We have no idea what Jason did.
And you have multiple reaction shots of people walking into the room.
Yeah,
and
like
being
one
like,
after another.
what? Like, I thought, like, I was like, after the third person, I was like, are you serious?
It's almost like
They're
a comedy
"Oh,
movie where
Jesus."
it's almost like a comedy movie where somebody goes to the bathroom and they come out and they're like, "Don't go in there," and the next person
Yeah.
like is like, "Whoa," and the next person's like, "Whoa."
And they're like, okay, we did two people. And then a third guy shows up and they're like, oh, P.U. And you're like, oh, fucking A. And then like a fourth guy drives in from town. He's like, what's going on here? I'm going to check out
almost like the
bathroom."
scene in There's Something About Mary when he gets his ball stuck in the zipper.
What?
You don't know that scene?
No.
What? That's like, oh my god, that's one of the most iconic like anxiety scenes.
He gets his ball stuck in his zipper. I mean, that
He,
sounds
he-
bad.
he's picking up his prom date. It's Ben Stiller.
How did they get that? Did they show balls on the camera?
Yeah, and he's picking it
Oh.
up. He's picking it up. He's picking up his prom date. And he has to go to the bathroom, and that happens when he's picking like there. And so he has to get her dad in, who's Keith David, and he
Yeah.
comes in and he's like, "Man, oh god, oh, how'd you get the beans above the Frank?" And then like they call like the firefighters and the EMTs and everything, and
Oh my
everybody makes the
God.
same comment.
The beans above the frame. That's it. We should watch that movie. Okay, Jason at the end though, I will say his strength is inconsistent because the sheriff he actually he squares up with Jason, knocks him over,
There's some
kicks him and shit.
and there's some badass people in this. Like
Yeah.
probably the four most effective people against Jason of all time are in this movie.
They actually knock him down.
They shotgun
And then-
blast his ass.
Yeah, and then Jason, I'm trying to think from his perspective. Like, if someone tackles him and he's so fucking strong, is he like, oh goddamn, like what the fuck happened? As the guy's punching him, Jason just kind of calmly folds him in half.
Yeah,
and being
Sheriff
like, okay,
Taco.
all right, that was enough of that.
We love that moment. That's one of the
Yeah.
rip roars moments in our house. And
I had to rewind that to find out what happened because it wasn't.
about 2 minutes
clear.
before it happens, when they start fighting, we start
Yeah.
saying, "Is it taco time?" it's taco time, I think. And then when it happens, we go, "Taco, Sheriff Taco." We call him Sheriff Taco.
I thought he was just pushed over at first. I think when I heard you hear cracking noises and I'm like, were those legs? There's no fucking way that's what happened. And like I noticed he's like gone. I'm like, I have to rewind this. Like there's no way.
Yeah, the series does kind of they kind of try to kill people in unique ways, and not like end of a Rube Goldberg machine, like unique ways, but like really basic. Like, what haven't we done yet? Has someone been beaten to death with their own leg yet? And like things like that.
They send a guy to Home Depot and like, is there any new tools
Yes,
that have come out?
tools. Exactly. And then by like the seventh movie, they're like, we never did a sleeping bag one.
Right.
And that one
Wait, I
ends up
remember-
being really bad.
I've seen the Jason X where he does two sleeping bag kills.
There's another, they redo it in X, and then you're like, yeah, you've already done that 3 movies ago.
Oh my god! I thought it was I thought it was revolutionary when I was 10. You get to the point where Tommy is like, I have a plan to kill Jason, and he starts like hauling a rock, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing?
You can
I
tell
was
that
thinking he's
rock is
gonna-
made of foam, also.
Like, yeah, I was thinking he's gonna do like a Wile E. Coyote, be a sexy Jason at the edge of a cliff,
Oh.
and then so Jason slams into the side and the rock falls. Because I was like, what the fuck is he? And he starts grabbing chains and heading to the water. I'm like, okay, but he's holding like a chain loop.
Yeah, almost
And
like
so
a
his-
dog's leash, like a collar.
Yeah, and he's planning on just being like, I'm gonna have Jason come right up to me, and I'm gonna loop him like a cowboy.
Yeah. And just so you know, Jason's signature move is
Yeah.
popping up on the opposite side of a waterbound vessel, as people expect him to.
Okay, because I was
He's
I
killed
was
about
wondering,
30 people that way.
his defining trait is that he can't swim. Like, what? I
No,
didn't
his
think he
defining
could-
trait is that you think that you're
Oh,
going to
he-
outsmart him
his
in a
defining
boat,
trait
and then
is that he actually can't.
he can swim.
That's his defining trait. Is he could secretly swim.
People go out on boats and they're like, "Phew, we don't have to deal with Jason." And like almost every single movie.
Because he secretly swam when he got out of the lake.
Yes.
Because Tommy, when he calls over Jason, and this might have what you were talking about, because Jason's about to like pull the head off of the sheriff's
He's about to
daughter.
smash her face between his palms.
And a kill he's already done. Okay,
Yeah,
like
and that's why I think it wasn't effective.
And then Tommy's like, "Hey, Jason," and Jason is on site with this dude. Like Jason, as soon as he
They
sees
hate
Tommy,
each other.
yeah, he's actually double timing it to Tommy. Like he's
He's
not
never
just doing
moved
his
like that
slow.
before.
Yeah, that's the fastest I've ever seen him move, and he stops being funny. Like Jason's no longer making jokes.
Yeah.
He's like actually trying to really move, get this guy. And then what's funny to me was like when the sheriff's daughter was like, "Hey, Jason, stop!" Or like she's like, Tommy,
Like,
and
Tommy,
Jason,
no! And Jason turns around and goes towards it, and Tommy's like, "Dude, what the fuck? This was my whole plan, and you're just like screaming like for no reason."
Yeah, like it totally fucked it up. But I love Jason's body language because like when she calls him back, he kind of turns around. He's like, "Oh, yeah, no, I'll do this first." And he kind of starts going back. And then Tommy's like, "Jason," he's like, "No, what the fuck am I doing? No, fuck
It's like
Tommy.
he has
all right?
ADHD.
Fuck Tommy." Yeah. He's like, "What am I doing?" Like because the speed in which he whips around at Tommy. He's like, "No, I'm gonna take down Tommy. I'm not gonna waste time." And then he like slowly he walks into the lake, but the boat's too high. And I think Tommy is thinking the same thing that I would. It'd be like,
Julie pointed out.
he's not gonna fucking get to me.
Julie was like, "What was his plan?" Because
Yeah.
like he acts surprised that Jason didn't like swim out to him.
Right.
Did he think that that he was only in like 5.5 feet of water, but he was actually in like 7 or 8?
I mean, it would definitely take away. Like, if I see Jason start like even just wading or doggy paddling
Yeah,
towards
like-
him, it would remove all mystique.
But just like Jason should, he sinks. He's like Metal Mario. It's
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And he's like walking on the bottom of the lake.
and then he swims up and grabs him, and then Tommy out muscles Jason. Like he actually goes hand to hand with him.
And I think that's where we can tell a couple shots in this movie are like extended. Maybe a different movie would have edited them into separate clips. But sometimes you're just watching them roll around on the boat for about 10 seconds and you're like, okay,
like,
they definitely planned to shoot that once and then edit it into multiple shots. And that's kind of where the typical last fight, like this, we call it like the final girl fight. That's where it takes place. It's on this tiny little rowboat. And unfortunately, they kind of have to draw that out. But there's only so many things you can do on a tiny little rowboat. So they kind of just like roll around for a little bit too long. And
It was too long, yeah.
Yeah.
And it also there was also these weird shots where you're not sure what happened because it keeps cutting to the rock, and I'm like, wait, what's the rock? Like
Yeah.
it keeps cutting back to the rock, like the rock is also in on the fight, and then it shows the guy the chain loop, and the chain loop's being on Jason, and it's off Jason.
Yeah.
And then anyways, like I think Jason is kind of like a signs alien. If he's in the water, I think he's weaker because that's the only way you can explain Tommy punching Jason in the face and him being like, "Oh," and he like falls off the canoe. Someone who's strong enough to pull a man's head off. I think.
I'll say that this is like literally not the only movie where they try to just change. They're like, let's just put him in the fucking bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
The next movie, number 7, opens and closes with the same idea. Jason accidentally gets floated to the surface by somebody, and at the end they're like, we'll just put him back.
Just put him back.
We'll just put him back. Let's do that all over again. And then number 8, the same fucking thing happens. A boat is driving through Crystal Lake, and the anchor accidentally yanks him up.
At this point, you should get the state involved. Tell them there's an indestructible man at the bottom of this lake.
Right.
Just fucking pull the lake or drain the lake and fill it with concrete and be like, it's illegal to go in this fucking zone.
And that's the opening, I think, of number 9.
They fill it with concrete?
They get like the FBI involved.
Okay. I would think, unfortunately, the U.S., we say this every time there's something like this in a movie.
They would love it.
The U.S. military, holy shit, an indestructible man, and you just need to put a picture of his mom
Yeah.
on an enemy,
He's
and
SEAL
he
Team
will kill
1.
them. Like, this is a man who can't be killed.
Yeah, he's
And
I think
he's
that's
funny.
Yeah,
Like-
and he's got a good comedic timing.
The best part is he'll do it the funniest way.
It's kind of like Blade, and he's not gonna snitch. He's not gonna write a book.
He can't speak. He doesn't care. It is an interesting. He's alive. Like he's under the lake. They kind of did like a Godfather thing where he's swimming with the fishes, sleeping with the fishes, and then like what? The sheriff's daughter gets in the lake to save Tommy, who's been drowned by Jason at the same time. And like this is the only one reason why I'm belaboring this is because like there's a scene where Jason's grabbing her ankle, right, and like pulling her back down,
And
right?
she's deciding, now's the time I'm gonna try and start this boat.
Apparently it's not. She's not being pulled very hard because she's able to start an old rusty motor.
And me and Julie were both kind of miming that. We were like,
Yeah.
that's a serious workout. Like
That's hard.
She does face pulls at the gym like religiously.
Yeah. I can't do that on dry
No,
land
hell
very
no.
easily. If someone's pulling my ankles down and I'm trying
A
to tread
superhuman
water,
who's ripped limbs off mere minutes ago.
the only reason why her limb's not ripping off is because there's water to like pull her
Right.
down with the rip motion, and she's not even gripping the boat. Her only point of contact
She's
is
kind
the
of just laying on it.
rip cord. What I would do is hold the ripcord and let Jason pull me down
Oh,
with
yeah,
his
there
super
you go.
strength, and it would start the motor. But then I was also like, I didn't know the motor was on his face. I thought her plan was to start the motor and then hold onto the boat and speed away.
Oh, yeah.
But like because of the camera editing, it's fucking weird, and his face
And because
gets
they
chopped
can't
up.
actually do it. Like, it's all practical. So, like, they
Oh, they
can't
can't-
actually put a man's face on a boat propeller.
right, and then he gets chopped up, but then he's not chopped up afterwards.
Look, that's that's as good as we're gonna
Dog.
get.
His mask is intact too. His mask doesn't regenerate. That's just like a prop he liked, right?
Exactly. And throughout the next few movies, he gets scars.
Oh, on the mask? That's
Yeah.
like reminiscent of what happened?
Yes,
okay, that's
exactly.
cool. No, that's cool. I thought it would have been better maybe if Tommy had actually drowned because he's revived with CPR. If
Right.
Tommy was drowned and then becomes a new Jason somehow.
Or like becomes kind of like Demolition Man, where when they wake one up, the other one wakes up.
Oh, so it's like two people.
The
two
Terminator
forces
and
of
the
nature.
T-1000 or whatever.
That would be cool. And it's like the Doom guy or some shit. Like
Yes.
they unfreeze Tommy. And he's like, Jason, oh, it's 1986. And they're like, no, Tommy, calm down.
It's 2004.
2000. The U.S. military got a hold of him. You gotta stop him, Tommy. You go, what the fuck? What country is he in? We don't know. Okay.
Here's a
You gotta
map.
find him, Tommy. You're the only one. 19-year-old Tommy.
All the reported sightings are in a line heading towards Crystal Lake, New Jersey.
I'm just a kid. I literally have no resources. I don't even know how to fucking purchase things in this year. Tommy, you gotta do it. I'd watch
You can
that.
open an
sequel.
account at creditkarma.com.
The movie ends with an Alice Cooper original song. And
Thank you, because I was not
Yeah.
sure if you were going to stick around for the credits or if on streaming it, like, put it into a little box.
it did, but I clicked back into the
Thank
movie to
you,
listen to
God,
the original
'cause
song.
we're going to have to pause.
Original song in horror movies. We've talked about this in previous episodes where they describe the whole
Exactly
movie.
what's going on. And also, this is an amazing movie. It's called The Man Behind the Mask.
Yeah,
It's an Alice Cooper original, and
incredible.
as soon as you listen to it, you know exactly how it was made. Is they told Alice Cooper in advance, like, "Hey, look, we're gonna license your music for this terrible Jason movie, and we said you'd write like an original song." So he's like, "Oh, cool, that's great. Yeah, whatever. Some little money and stuff." A month goes by. Knock, knock, knock on Alice Cooper's studio door, and it's like, "Hey, I'm here to pick up that copy of the Friday the 13th original song." And I was like, "Oh, fuck. Yeah, just a minute."
Let me grab it.
He's like, the man behind the mask, and then he goes around and he kills somebody, and da da da.
He does it in one. He does it in one fucking take. And like
And at
reading
one
the
point,
back
he's
of
even
a
like,
VHS.
he's like, and he knows where the bad guys are, and he loves to kill, and he knows your house. Oh, fuck, God damn it, my house. No, it's not. And he knows where you live. And, like, we lose it. We absolutely lose it towards the end of the song. Alice
Yeah.
Cooper literally says, and he knows your house, which is such a weird way of saying he knows where you live. And house doesn't rhyme with anything.
That's-
and
it
we're
doesn't-
like,
no
so
one talks like that.
Is your house like Monster House and they know each other from like Monster Club?
He knows your house. That sounds like a Tim Robinson sketch.
Yeah.
Like something
Yeah,
he would say.
that's exactly what
he
I said.
knows your house.
And he's like, it's like, he knows the layout. He got access to the blueprints.
And like, there's literally lines where they'll repeat the same word, where he's like, "You think you're alone, but you're not alone. Jason's there, and you're all alone." And I'm like, holy shit! Like, am I fucking losing it right now? Like,
you have now watched it during the credits, but that's
Yeah.
not the optimal way to watch that song.
okay.
You need to watch the official music video.
We're gonna do another episode, folks, where we're gonna review the music
Because-
video of this.
Actually, you didn't need to watch this movie at all. You just have to watch the music video, and then you understand exactly what happens.
Does it just reenact the
It's
whole
just
movie?
clips from the movie playing in a movie theater where Alice Cooper is like maybe there.
I wish it was just Alice Cooper reenacting this movie
It-
on his own.
it's-
Where it's like someone shows up to his house, like, "Oh, did you film that music video for this?" He's like, "Oh crap! Yeah, one sec.
He's
Let
just
me
in a
just
room,
get it
he's
real
like-
quick." He's been gone for like 20 minutes.
It looks
What
like
the fuck is-
Paranormal Activity footage. It's off his
Oh
Ring
yeah,
camera.
here it is. Just as much effort as I put into that other one. Dude, I mean, it reminds me of like on hip hop heads on the subreddit. Some guy was saying he paid Lil B for an 87-cent feature on his song. Lil B, the rapper, was doing this thing where he was like, you know, you pay me a certain amount of money, I'll come on. And he DM'd Lil B and he's like, dude, I'm broke. I will give you 87 cents is what I can spare. And then Lil B's like, he was actually like, I will give you a full verse and it'll be 87 cents worth of effort. And he does it. He does a full verse. And goddamn it, it was like every cent worth of the 87 cents. He did not go over a budget at all. Like, it was the worst fucking verse ever. It was literally him in front of the microphone, did not try to rhyme anything, and then roasts the guy basically in the verse. And that's sort of, and that's like one of my favorite pieces of media.
That's pretty good. And that does kind of remind me of like, this is the 87-cent Friday the 13th movie.
They took the piss and maybe unlocked some piss too, because they did something unique here.
Well, and it in itself, in its format, is a criticism on the genre, because the last few had been literally directed by like softcore porno directors.
The fuck? Is
No,
that why
like-
there's so many nudity?
No,
Like,
actually, like that's
oh,
actually.
Jesus.
And then so they made this one, and the woman who plays like Lisbeth, she's in the car. She gets drowned in the mud
Okay,
puddle.
yeah, yes.
That's the director's wife, and they just needed someone to play the part. And so she was hanging around set, like working on set. She was like taking care of like the teenagers and making
Yeah.
sure that like nothing weird with the studio or anything was happening. So she's
Right.
like the set mom.
Oh, that's cool. So, yeah, if someone asked you do you want to be killed by Jason in a movie?
Yeah, and also like the casting for this movie didn't require you to get naked,
Yeah.
which is a plus for a
Yeah,
slasher.
I mean, it adds a lot of ick to these movies, you know?
yeah,
Like, I mean,
and
you're
that's
already
why
thinking
this
it
is
when you see
this
them,
is a
yeah.
guilt-free watch.
Aside from all the people they killed making it.
I'm not making it.
As a slashometer, Jasonometer, I'm going to give it...
Slashometer is pretty low.
Yeah, right.
Because this is not the most gory. It's not the most slasher. It's not the most scary. It's probably like a 4 on the slashometer. It definitely has elements, but there's only a couple actually scary scenes. When he's lording over the gravedigger's body and the guy comes around the corner, the fancy guy comes around the corner, and then Jason like has the machete up and he turns.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I agree with your score. If it was, I guess maybe a Jasonometer would be more appropriate.
Yeah.
Jasonometer, I'm gonna give it kind of high because this is like, I think this is touching all of his iconic shit. This is probably the best movie of his iconic era. It sounds like this one shows up on a lot of lists of like best Jason movie. I think this one's probably like a 10 in that regard. Like I feel like he does a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
he does the stuff.
because he has his mask.
The guy's mask.
And number
He's doing
2,
the
he's
killing.
wearing a one-eye hold sack, a burlap sack.
What?
I was at for Halloween one year because Julie kind of
Yeah.
looks like the protagonist, and we had her.
Looks like Jason.
No, he's not the protagonist. And we did a really like movie accurate creation, recreation of the Halloween for Halloween costumes. And so I was wearing a sack with one eye hole, and we went to a club in Ithaca, club, like more like a bar that kind of turns into a club. And for the law school's Halloween party. And it wasn't entirely clear who I was. I had like a fake machete like going through my body. And
that's cool.
but people were like
Scarecrow from Batman
yeah,
Begins?
kind of, and like these drunk people were like trying to like take my mask off and like kind of like grope at me, and it was really weird. So I sympathize with Jason. You cannot see out of that thing.
Oh. Movie meter?
On an objective basis, pretty low. On a subjective basis, pretty high. I'm on a my Ryan scale of enjoyment. This is an 8.
I believe that, dude. Because I mean, this is one of Ryan's bangers. It's got to be high up there. I mean, for me, like I've said this earlier, like talking about it is more fun for me. If we could have done this during the movie, it probably could have been up to an 8. But I mean, yeah, dude, like this movie's not good for me to watch. It's like my enjoyment was like a 3 watching it. It was more of just me writing things down on the paper and just trying to study it. But I mean, I could see how this could be a party watch.
You're gonna get a lot more of my references.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna reference? He's in your house. Or
just like Jasonisms.
Splat.
When I start talking about like this reminds me of Friday the 13th, or like in slashers they do this, you're gonna have one on Jace.
Now I do need to see the original texts and figure out just what the fuck's
The first is good. The first has KB.
Kim Basinger?
Kevin Bacon.
Oh, fuck. But there you have it, folks. Let us know what you think about this movie, all right? This is a cult classic. Did we nail this thing? Or did I kind of fuck it up by asking all these clarification questions and trying to figure out what happened? I don't think you did. But, folks, thank you for joining us for the summer break. Let us know what you want us to watch. We're probably going to watch what we want anyways.
Yeah, because nobody ever suggests anything.
If you guys want to just suggest stuff. I mean, we get suggestions in the DMs, right? I should be fair to you guys. People do ask us to watch certain movies.
But what the hell?
I just don't tell you. People, I've gotten probably about 70 DMs about this movie. Please watch it. I keep sending them. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Go fuck yourself. Unfollow us. I get really mean on the DMs. But I think we should throw something to the fans for this one. But let us know. Hopefully, you maybe want to watch Treasure Planet or something like Atlantis. Like movies, or maybe maybe
are those
maybe
on
Titan
Disney
AE?
or not? I'd be down to watch some old like
I know that's those
Cell sort of animated movies. Yeah,
same. Like that's in my pile saved for when Jace is here. But thanks for joining us. And
Jace is currently if you need to check your phone, he's on to us. Are you looking at your phone? You need, dude. He's back. Jace lives.
Jace is back.
Jace lives.
Jace lives.
Yeah, he just texted us and said, "What's going on over there?"
Holy shit, he's back. I thought he.
I'm trying to stall, man, but I don't know how long till he gets on.
Okay, folks, we're probably gonna have to bring Jace back. We thought we left him on the bottom of a lake,
man,
but somehow he got into our phones. So we are gonna have to release him from his temporary prison and watch more movies with him.
The season writes itself, man.
So Jace, we hope you've enjoyed the Ryan and Denali episodes. I know he's probably he was straining against the chains, thinking of other bits. Like when we would go do bits, he's
he's
sign's
like,
alien.
He can sense the force. He's like, oh, there's a joke to be made.
So we'll hopefully have more Jace episodes with the 3 of us. Jace, we still got to get you on a one-on-one with Denali or Ryan. All right, the fans want it.
A one-on-one with Denali and Ryan.
And with that, he's in your house.